Um, I'll grab the other one and we'll see what actually looks better. uh, just picked them up today and I'm very happy with them. One of these days I'm going to uh, actually have sunglasses made, because that way, uh, I can like see when I'm driving. Oh wait, these are the other ones. These are the other ones. Let's see. You want to see these? These were rather expensive too. Um, I like these, but I like those better. Yeah, okay. I mean, these aren't bad though. For a change, I guess. I don't know. The old ones are in here, the broken ones. So anyway, let's talk about Ahsoka. So last night was episode 3, and literally we're going into the middle of the series now. So I think tomorrow will be like the mid series. Yeah, these are the new ones. Just showed off the old other ones. The old ones are in here, the ones that Kojak broke when he did this to me, by accident. So let's go back to Ahsoka. So we're gonna be in the middle of the series. So episode 4, and then everything else is gonna be to the finale. Because it's only 8 episodes, and I'm kind of glad about that. It was a bit short. I wish it had been maybe 10 or 15 minutes longer, showing Balin, Shin, and their hunter droids, assassin droids, following Ahsoka and Sabine and Huyang in the forest there. And I like the forest. Those beautiful red fall colors kind of made me go, perfect for this time of year. It's still too fucking warm out. And they already have the autumn mums out. I'm like, look, mid to the end of September is when you're going to see me do all that stuff out in the front yard. Probably more like to the beginning of October. And I'm not buying pumpkins until probably the second week of October. Because if I go any earlier, about half of my pumpkins rot. And I'm like, I tried to grow some this year, but the only one I got was that big, and the squirrels got it. Those little fuckers. Debbie, I'm done. You're not. After all the bullshit from the last couple of days, when people can't handle being criticized for being wrong, and somehow things are getting back to them, all right? I'm done. You can go away now, okay? I don't trust you anymore. Go away. Anyway, so, they can say it's slow or not. I don't care. A lot of people out there, they're trained by playing games, by video games and stuff like that. And they don't really know how to watch a film anymore. I don't believe you. All right? I don't believe you. Okay, run along now. I'm done. Done. Anyway, if you're watching a story and two people are having a conversation and you think that's slow, I can't help you with that. I really, really can't. I mean, I'm like, that's in fact, look, ask anybody who's ever been in the military. But 99% of fighting a war is being bored off your ass. That's it. Okay. It's all talking, getting things ready, and waiting. Hurry up and wait. All right. So when you're watching these guys and they're doing something, and of course, I'll have a lot to say about Hera and stuff later. Yeah, I mean, you know, look, if you go back and watch the old movies like Casablanca, these people would be asleep. Gone with the Wind, they'd be asleep. Um, you know, uh, uh, the women, the searchers. I mean, all these great old movies, and these idiots be like, it's too slow, and it's in black and white. You know, like, because everything before they woke up this morning sucks, or is too slow. I don't know. Anyway, um, no, it's not too slow. And there was a lot of action. In fact, I was disappointed it ended so fast because it was so just some other guy, shit went down, okay? Shit went down. I had Nick trolling here again. And it's like, who is fucking telling them anything about me? Okay? They did a video about me, the little pricks, again. Okay? I'm done. Those two fuckers, if they can't enjoy Star Wars and talk about, all they talk about is how much they hate everything. If these people can't enjoy something and let everybody else enjoy it, they should maybe find something else to do, okay? Because I got no more time for that shit. I got no time for that. Okay, I'm done. All right? And I'm sick and tired of the YouTube community uh, being so hateful towards each other. And it's all about money and clicks. There's no love for uh, no, I can't. Um, I'm not going to. Uh, they know who they are. They know who they are. Okay, I'm done. And somebody on here is either telling them, and I know that they have a connection, like I do, with one person. What am I supposed to do? I mean, the obvious. All right, maybe they have Google alerts on, so every time I put something up, they watch. But they're both banned from this channel in every iteration. I mean, look, I basically am being stalked by these two fuckers. Okay. Anyway, let's talk about Ahsoka, and then we get to talk about Pablo because it's really funny. Um, anyway, so yeah, it's not slow. Okay, it's not. Um, so you're watching it, and you know Sabine, she's never going to be a Jedi. I mean, Hu Yang basically said that to her. What Dave is trying to do is he's putting into action what George said about the Force, that everybody is connected to it. We all have it. But there are people that are more, not just sensitive to it, but more in line with it. All right, and this is where midichlorians come in. Look, if Anakin Skywalker has midichlorians, Lando Calrissian does. To what extent? Okay, to what extent? And it's very interesting to me that it's not a democratization of the Force like fucking Ryan Johnson. It's basically putting into action what George said to Larry Kasdan, and I think Richard Marquand in the making of Return of the Jedi. The Force is this thing that everybody's connected to. Okay, everybody has it. As Hu Yang said, there are some people that are just more talented, without bringing up midichlorians again, because the physical is the hallmark, and the physical and the mystical are combined. Native Americans believe that. Catholic mystics feel that way. I think Islamic mystics think that. When you are conceived in your mother's womb, all right, egg and sperm meet, there's an actual flash of light. That could be some sort of bioluminescence. Science can explain that. In my opinion, that is God giving a baby its soul, giving that little creation its soul. All right. That's what the midichlorians are. They're literally the stamp of the supernatural within all of us. Because remember what Yoda said. We are luminous beings, are we? Okay, luminous beings. So, my opinion is, when people bring up Sabine shouldn't be trained, blah, 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 she's being trained to understand herself more. When you look, and I'm going to tell you something, that moment when she puts on the blast shield helmet, that's a throwback to A New Hope. When Ahsoka is basically making her look stupid, that is showing that it takes a tremendous amount of determination and effort to even get to a point where maybe you can make this can go like that. All right, will she ever? No, but maybe she'll get better at being basically, hi Mob Squad, at basically being a Mandalorian warrior, because that's what she is. Yeah. I mean, I've got the Aura Singh figure. It's a great figure. I think that she was a very cool, character. I think. Anyway, so and what they're doing by showing Ahsoka training Sabine is they're mocking The Last Jedi. They're mocking The Last Jedi by showing just how hard it is. Go back to Dagobah. Go back to, and Luke, he's extremely powerful in the Force. He's the son of Anakin Skywalker. He's got, tremendous abilities that he has to learn to master. Sabine has to get more in touch with the side of her that is luminous, as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't make her a Jedi, okay? It makes her, as Yoda said, luminous beings are we, okay? It makes her more of a spiritual creature. And watching this training session and then comparing it to Rey, I was like, this is a middle finger to The Last Jedi and to the sequel trilogy. This really is. So, all right, so let's go to Ahsoka's spacewalk. First off, if there is anybody complaining about it, STFO. Okay, right now. Why? Because that is canon, and it's not from The Last Jedi. It's from Clone Wars. Both Anakin and Ahsoka together removed buzz droids from a ship by going out and on the ship with gear on to get rid of them. Okay, so, all right. But what does it say? What was this? This was an answer to Leia Poppins. It wasn't ridiculous. It is canon for what Ahsoka did. And what they did with Leia was an absolute fuck you to the character, fuck you to the fans, fuck you to George, fuck you to the franchise. Okay, period. That whole thing, I was like, because I remember that episode where Anakin and Ahsoka are out doing that. And I'm like, okay, I understand this now. Yeah, and magnetized boots. When you look at both things, both like Leia out in space, waking up and then floating back. I'm like, it is so, what? But when you see Ahsoka doing what she did, and you know that it's canon because it's been done in Clone Wars, there you go. It's like, it's not like this, but you remember when Pogos, they fly, and you see the stormtroopers coming after them. Stormtroopers have had jetpacks for I think since the EU. It's like, anyway. So what I think is we are going to have a re-examination of where they're going with this. Yesterday, they put a revamped, or look, this whole timeline that was from Celebration up on the the Star Wars website, and for a moment there, everybody thought that the sequel trilogy was removed, and it's not. But Acolyte's not on there. Okay, neither is Skeleton Crew, but Skeleton Crew is coming out next year. So we hope, and so there you go. I think as we get to episode 4, I don't know how long it's going to be. I'm hoping it's going to be at least 45 minutes. I mean, they should try to work out to make sure that every episode's at least an hour. Okay. The thing I like about Taylor Sheridan is when you're watching 1923, every episode was like an hour long. Okay, and some were longer. Okay. But now we'll get to see the Jedi being hunted in the forest. And I think Balin is probably going to turn. I don't think Shin will. She seems pretty much in with the program. It's just, to me, here's what I think is going to happen. They use the Eye Scion, Morgan Elsbeth does. They go to get Thrawn. They open up a gateway. That galaxy's there. And we get Thrawn back and the Chimera. And the Imperials rally. What else comes with them? The Vong, or is they're going to start calling them the Gursk? You cannot have this stuff together in the same path as a sequel trilogy. I don't care what Black Pill says, whatever. They say that to make themselves happy because they want to believe everything sucks. Very nihilistic. I don't want to hear it. Not here. If you haven't seen it or you're bitching about the writing, you better have a really good intellectual reason why you don't like the writing. Because if you don't, if you're just spewing nonsense you heard a big YouTuber say for clicks, look, the negativity has to stop. All right, so many people on X, like today, was talking to a guy, talking to Mazurus, basically saying he has unsubscribed from all those people because of the negativity. It's just a bitch session circle jerk all the time, and there's the intellectual energy is gone because you can't think if you're angry all the time. Okay, and you can't think critically. Well, just some other guy. I think I think we are going to get a second season of Ahsoka. Look, a lot of people want to sit and believe, oh, 1.2 million Samba viewers, blah, blah, blah. And I know the black pill blobs and the know-it-alls who don't know. Ask anybody in movies or in finance. They don't know anything about they don't know anything about finance or film. Uh, you have to look, like I said in my video yesterday about investing. They'll scream they invested so much money in the sequel trilogy they can't get rid of it. Are they putting any more into it? No. They've closed the Star Wars Hotel. Okay, you do not see sequel trilogy figures, masks, in the latest Mandalorian, season 3, or Ahsoka. Kyle Ron is gone. Captain Phasma, BB-8, none of it. The sequel trilogy is being eliminated. Now, what I think they're going to do is put it into a B-side a B-side a B-side timeline. You know, VR doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, look, the guy has no idea how movies are made. No, they don't know what it means, because if they were apathetic, they wouldn't care about it. My attitude is this: if you don't like what they're doing, stop talking about it. Okay, go find a new hobby. Okay, and they're going to cancel the act. They're not going to cancel. They're not going to cancel. All right. Well, okay. They're not going to cancel Ahsoka for sure, but they are probably going to cancel the Acolyte. Okay. You guys just got introduced to my very favorite moment, is when my dyslexia comes in and I read a word wrongly or misread it because I'm going too fast. Yeah, Sin of Greedmore, it does have a double meaning. In fact, when Balin Skull says, what tells Shin what they can expect, war, I can't, whatever, and then power beyond belief. He's talking about what's going to happen next in Star Wars. You know, and that's a fact. Okay, that's what's going on. You know, that's what Ahsoka's doing. I do expect, at least by the last episode, to see Skywalker. I would like to see Leia, and maybe Han show up, because Dave Filoni, dear sir, Grand Admiral Thrawn is their story. Okay, he is their story. Okay, now let's talk about Hera Syndulla. I really have mixed feelings about her. I do like Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and she did a great job in the second part last week when she was challenging the shipping the shipyard manager. She did a really good job, but the thing I don't like is bringing her so-called child in, who doesn't look like a Twi'lek at all, and his name is Jason. See, my thing is this. If you remove characters that people love, in the EU, Mara Jade, could do stuff with her. I have an idea with her. Jason Solo, Jaina Solo, Anakin Solo. They're all very popular characters, and will bring a lot of money into the franchise because of what. Now remember though, you can have people with the same name also in the franchise too. So who knows? Maybe one Jason's name is spelled the other way. And um, well, it's not. I mean, look about the acolyte. Even though I don't want to talk about it today, let's leave Hera Syndulla for a minute. From what we know, there's something that is kind of finished about it. Maybe they have 2 episodes done, but they don't have enough for a show, a completed show. They went and basically are hiring animators, etc., for Mumbai and Sydney to help and use the acolyte as a place card to get people to come in and apply for the jobs. What they could do, and these are all possibilities, is try to finish what they have because they're probably ILM is probably under contract till it's finished because that's what Kamran thinks, and that's what other people think, and that's what Sparrow thinks. So they're doing this to finish the job and get the contracts done. They could take it to Iger, and he could say cancel it, shelve it. Will there be enough for a tax write-off? I don't know. And you got to remember this whole thing is complicated by the lawsuit. All right. And what I think is probably very illegal activity by Leslie Headland. And remember, she is not working on it anymore. Does not have her security card for Lucasfilm. She does not have her parking space. They took it all away from her. What happened? I think she threw Kennedy under the bus. Right. They could, John Favreau could look at what they got and then gut it and turn it into something that people want to see. Okay. Okay. Favreau, I think, has the pulse of the fans because he is one. So let's just see what happens there. Okay. Now, but that's, it could, I think it will probably be shelved because I don't see Bob Iger going, this is great at all. I see him going, I just, anyway. So let's go back to Hera Syndulla. I don't like the relationship she had with Kanan Jarrus. That really bothered me. The fact that she had a child. Look, I know a little bit about hybridization. You know how they get a mule, right? You take a donkey stallion and a horse, a mare, put them together, and you get a mule, okay? Mules are sterile. They're basically almost mutants, okay? Now, they're kind of cool because if you have a mule in the pasture with like your cows or your sheep or your, horses, they will keep coyotes and actually mountain lions away. A mule will kill a mountain lion. They're not afraid of anything. And that's kind of cool thing about it. But when I think of a human and humanoid halvesies, a hybrid, I'm like, you know, I understand the spiritual side of Star Wars. I don't understand this. I really just don't. And it's yuck. Okay, it's like, you know, and oh, I heard that, Kojak. Garaga Riga. He's moaning now. Um, I just, and the fact of the matter is, they took Jason's name and gave it to the kid. Why didn't they name him something else? You know, and the rumor's been around forever that Dave Filoni hates the EU. I don't think it's that, but I often think it's a lack of creativity on people's parts. Just me. Anyway, so, all right. So, third episode of Ahsoka was great. I thought Ivana I can't remember. I can't say her last name. Sokan, I think her last name is, as Shen was excellent. I loved what she said to Morgan. Congratulations, Morgan, you almost caught him. That is almost a Han Solo line. Congratulations, princess, blah, 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 being a smartass. And I liked it, Again, we didn't get enough Ray Stevenson. Every time I look at him, my heart breaks. Because the guy was such a presence. And anything he was in, he made it better. Maybe he will. Yes, it is such a shame he died. Let's talk a little bit about this. Marok. So many people thinking about who he is. He could be Starkiller. He could be the clone of Luke Skywalker, because that is a guy in the whatever. He could just be a whatever Jedi, okay? Or he could be Ezra. All right, now when you look at it on knowing what happened to Ezra at the end of Rebels, and you look at how they wrote that, it makes sense, and it is something that George would do. It is something that I think Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau would do. That Ezra's been there the whole time. They didn't have to look very far, okay? And, he got dragged onto the dark side, okay? Yep. Right, I mean, he was a great guy. I really just enhance him. Wow. Anyway, so who Marok is, I think we'll know sooner rather than later. The mask will come off and everybody will go, oh, okay. So there's that. Now let's talk about Pablo. So one of the subs here, very good friend of mine, and a connection to somebody who was actually in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, went after Pablo. Because this is what Pablo is doing. This is how terrified he is of losing his job. Because we all know that they didn't bother to tell Gina. They just announced it on Deadline. That he has put Google Alerts. Hi, Red Bull. Puts his name on Google Alerts to see what people are saying about him. Now, that's at least narcissistic, and that's at most fucking paranoid. Okay. And our friend, our fellow subscriber here, and he also subscribes to Cameron's Patreon, basically went after him and used Gina to get him. And he didn't reply, all right? He did reply to me, making all kinds of excuses. Well, they've been saying this for the last 10 years. You never had a Google alert until now, okay? Remember, last January, his name was front and center of people Disney HR wanted to see gone from Lucasfilm, okay? And I think that day is going to be coming shortly. It just feels like it. And to me, I look at what Dave and John have to do, and I don't see how they could make headway in fixing what was broken with people like Matt Martin there. Matt Martin loves the sequel trilogy. He also likes to say, well, canon can be whatever you want it to be. That's a rationalization because he knows erasing the ST, at least from the A timeline, is going to happen. I mean, I just tell sequel trilogy fans, all the 5 of them that are still left, it's going to be there. It's going to be on Disney Plus. They're not taking it down. They should, but they're not. And if you've got it, physical copies, good on ya. You can go sit over in the corner and beat off to Kyle Ron all you want. The rest of us don't have to take part. Watch it or have our love of the franchise diminished by that piece of shit, okay? Go ahead, whack away, pal, whack away, okay? I mean, because that's what they do. Look, the ST serves as a rationalization for a bunch of people that hate themselves. And look, you know, when you watch Star Wars, you should be uplifted. Like last night, I was like, I want more. Can't we get another hour? Please, because it was too fast. It went by too fast. And I was, I watched it again this morning over coffee and breakfast, and I still felt that way. This has been, I think, really good Star Wars. And there were, again, this episode was they mooned The Last Jedi. If I get bored, I just have them on in the background. I mean, when I put up my Christmas trees, I usually have episodes 1 through 6 on in the background. And tomorrow or next week, we start cleaning out the basement because we're going to start taking bids on putting a movie, a media area where we can watch movies without disturbing anybody else in the house, in a bar, so I can have a wine bar down there, and I'll get to put up more of my movie stuff. And we've got posters from Kelly's Heroes and I think The Longest Day, and I've got some great Star Wars stuff to put up. So, and I was looking at TVs today. I gotta say, the new Sonys, I was like, looking at them. I mean, I want one about 75 inches. And look, it's not going to be that far away. But to have it there, you're going to be like in a movie theater. And that's how I want. Okay. And like, if I get a PS5 and play by, if they've got, if Battlefront 2 is on PS5, that'll be fun. To have that, to be able to use that. And to be able to watch all my physical copies of all the shows I've got. I've got 5 boxes full of Blu-rays and DVDs. By the way, Steel Wars, or steel. They're putting out, is putting out the steel box 4K editions of Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I saw that at Best Buy today. You know, I'm like, so I'm literally absolutely speechless that, you know, I'm able to grab those, and if I can, you know, I'm going to, because that'll look really cool on I don't know, let's see, Star Wars, you know, Rogue One. You know, I liked Rogue One. Okay, I'm willing to give Kennedy that, and that's it. Okay, let's talk about her before we go. So yesterday, StarWars.com put out a PR note saying that 14 million viewers watched the first two episodes of Ahsoka. And I do tend to believe that because despite YouTube, I think that they're it's been doing very well. And well, look, Samba does not really give you the full story. Yeah, it's just been, just don't watch them anymore. I just tell people, if you're sick of the negativity, turn it off. Okay, turn it off. So, all right, wait for Nielsen to come out because that'll be more definitive. But I think that this is it's doing way better than people thought. But Lucasfilm made a mistake. Who did they quote in the PR statement? That fucking bitch Kennedy. I'm like, what's wrong here? I can't tell. Oh my God. You know, and I'm literally like going, I do not understand the thinking behind putting anything with her name out there on anything. It's bad enough she gets executive producer on anything. All right, but that's by the rules, they have to. However, does she need to be quoted? Maybe they should have used Jon Favreau. Maybe they should have used Dave Filoni. Maybe they should have used Bob Iger. Okay, Iger, you know, that would make sense. But the fact of the matter is, this is what we know about Kennedy. Steven Spielberg basically gave all of the film industry the signal that she's no longer welcome in Hollywood. She and her husband both, because of the horrible way they produced Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Just absolutely shitty production on their part. And Spielberg was pissed. I think Ford was pissed, and George was pissed. Okay, so that whole Spielberg up there at the Indiana Jones premiere, completely ignoring both her and her husband, with his back to them, you know, that was pretty much, you're done, Kathy, go away now. They're selling their house in Malibu. The last time I saw anything about Frank, he's in New York, or at least was the last time. You know, I bought Indy 5 on digital, and look, the first half hour is Indiana Jones. It is truly fucking Indiana Jones. But my problem, and I sent X tweet out to James Mangold about it. I think the problem with the movie is that it was backwards. Indy, this is what I would have done. Okay. Indy, Mudd is dead. He was killed in Vietnam. Marion walked out because she just couldn't handle the grief, and she needed to just go off on her own. So Indy doesn't have anybody, and he's about to retire. All right, there's no like glorious retirement. The great archaeologist, adventurer, Indiana Jones, blah blah blah. And what you see is what you get. Okay, he's down. He's to seed basically, and Helena Shaw shows up. She needs to see him badly. And he doesn't recognize her when she's out on the audience at his lecture. So she follows him to the bar and basically sits down next to him and starts bothering him. He doesn't recognize her, right? And then she says, "You don't recognize me, do you?" And he's like, "What?" She says, "I'm Basil's daughter." And he's like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Oh, how is he?" And she's like, "He was murdered." All right. Now, before he realizes who she is, he says, "Look, leave me alone." And no, actually, no, she should say who she is. He acknowledges it and says, "Look, Helena, how's your dad? Say hi to him for me. I really, I'm not here to go off on any adventures anymore. I'm done. My wife left me. My son was killed in the war. And, I was forced into retirement. I'm done. Nothing really left for me to do." And then she says, "Basil's dead. He was murdered." Then Indy has something. Ears go up like a German, like a German shepherd's. Then we go on. She gets kidnapped. They think she's got or knows where one part of the dial is. Then you go through all this shit. Instead, we've got him telling her 2,000 years ago that I don't have anything left to go back to. Well, that's what he should have said at the beginning. And as we get closer to finding the rest of the dial, he gets more involved and there's more left to live for. Then you have the happy ending with Marion. See how I fixed that? And you know who could actually help get him on his way? Sala. All right. That's what I would have done. And they did it in a way that they shouldn't have done it. That's the only problem I had. Harrison Ford was great, as always. Toby Jones was great. Mads Mikkelsen. And I am going to say this, don't get mad, but I really don't think the CIA was hiring too many black female field agents back in 1969. I mean, I don't know, maybe you could all get into groups and discuss and then come back and tell me what you think, but I was looking at that going, they weren't hiring for diversity back in 69, trust me on that. Even if the civil rights movement was basically over, okay? And they'd won. It just, no. But that's what I would have done. Indy is at the lowest point he could be and give him something to fight for. His goddaughter has disappeared. She came to visit him. He goes back, and after she's disappeared, and Sala says she was kidnapped. All right, because she got in touch with Sala too. Indy goes back to the school and finds that part of the dial. And then he goes off on an adventure with Sala singing, Pirates of Penzance behind him. And goes to find Helena in the other part of the dial. Okay. There, now you have Indiana Jones. Okay. And I think the movie would have been much better received. But when you've got Kathleen Kennedy there, she's got to have Helena do something to show her bullshit. Um, I think she would have been better the way I thought about her, because that's more realistic. Um, I didn't like the fact that she and that little boy were kind of like Indian short round. Um, I didn't like the way she kind of made eyes at really gross men. Women don't act like that, and when they do, it's like, you know, look, I'm a fan of Sex in the City. If you give me Kim Cattrall as Samantha Jones doing that, it's funny and it works because she is A, beautiful, B, she's very feminine, and C, she doesn't need to show any superiority. All right, there's an equality there. She doesn't act out like a guy. You've got Helena Shaw dressed like a guy, acting like a guy, and that bothered me because even a fictional character like Samantha Jones didn't act like that. Okay, so there you go. But that's my own real complaint about it. It's still a good movie. It's I think it's basically uh, kind of tied with with Crystal Skull. The first 20 minutes of Crystal Skull are just wicked awesome. Okay, wicked awesome. So I am gonna put the other ones on as we leave. These are my favorites. And they're gold. I thought they were silver, but I think they're like silver gold. What do you guys think of these? These are pretty cool too. But there you go. And, uh, you know, yeah, it does kind of dip a little bit, and that was the problem. You know, you know, I know George Lucas really liked Shia LaBeouf, but I really think he was the wrong guy to play Mutt. And you know, the reason why they killed him off is because of what Shia said about Steven Spielberg. All right, don't fuck with Spielberg. That's all I can say. Look what he did to kids, to the most powerful woman in Hollywood. Anyway, I gotta go, you guys. So, you guys have a good afternoon, evening, and if we hear anything else, you know, if you're on X, tweet at Pablo. Why are you so worried about Google searches of your name? You know. Anyway, I gotta go because I gotta start. I'm not gonna start dinner yet. I got some chicken, so that doesn't take too long. But I am gonna let the dog out. So, because he needs to go. You guys have a good evening, and remember, George already sort of democratized. Not really. He basically explained that everybody has a connection to the Force. It's just to what extent, okay? And how, you know, how in tune to that are you? And this is where the midichlorians come in, okay? This is Steph signing out. I'll see you around the galaxy.